For South Surrey, White Rock.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today not to debate a ban on coercive conversion therapy, but instead to debate the means by which we ban this harmful, damaging practice. I want to make one thing very clear from the outset. I am against forcibly attempting to change an individual's sexual orientation. I condemn that practice in the strongest possible terms. There's simply no place for this in Canada, period. But there is a place in Canada for compassion. At Justice Committee, of which I am a member, we heard testimony from a variety of stakeholders on this bill, including survivors of coercive conversion therapy, members of the 2SL LGBTQ plus community, Indigenous leaders, academics, doctors, lawyers, and faith leaders. I thank all the witnesses for their contributions, especially those who had the strength and courage to share their very personal experiences. I know it couldn't have been easy. It is evident to me from having heard these witnesses, reading countless briefs and spoken to dozens of constituents, that there is a widespread support for banning coercive conversion therapy practices, and there should be. But as with all legislation, the language must be clear. We need to ensure judges can interpret and apply the law as it is written, and that Canadians know what the law prohibits and what it doesn't. In other words, who it protects and who it doesn't. On this point, I've heard repeatedly that the bill's definition of conversion therapy is unclear, overbroad, as my colleague just said, and may have unintended consequences. For earlier Liberal speakers to say those with any concerns are against the communities we're trying to help and speak from fear is a harmful, wrong-minded statement. The Minister of Justice has said the bill will not affect good faith conversations, which I understand to mean caring, non-coercive discussions with doctors, parents, counselors, faith leaders, or others who Canadians young and old may turn to for support. Yet the bill as drafted does not say that. Why not? As we all know, what matters is not what the minister says the bill will do, but what the bill actually says. That is the law. That is what judges will apply from Victoria to St. John's. Several witnesses appearing before the committee called for amendments to the bill to clarify its definition, to clearly not criminalize those good faith conversations. Coercive conversion therapy should be banned, but we should leave politicization out. And remember, we are dealing with real people with real vulnerabilities, trying to make their way and needing help at a vulnerable time. We need to clarify, then proceed. This government should welcome the broadest possible support among Canadians for this legislation. Nothing more, nothing less. In fact, when the committee first heard from the Minister of Justice on this bill, the minister admitted, and I quote, "I will focus on the bill's definition of conversion therapy because there appears to be some persisting confusion about the scope," end quote. I agree with the minister. There is persisting confusion, and the confusion is about its scope, confusion that we as parliamentarians have a duty to rectify. Andre Schutten, legal counsel and director of law and policy at the Association for Reform Political Action Canada, or ARPA, told the committee the definition is ambiguous, unclear, and overbroad, and that it, quote, captures helpful counseling and psychological support for children, teens, and adults, end quote. Colette Akima explained to the committee that the counseling she received to help her cope with past traumas, including abuse and rape, would be criminalized by this definition of conversion therapy. Ms. Akima told the committee that her voluntary therapy from a University of Lethbridge counselor and a faith-based sex addiction group helped save both her marriage and her life. This was powerful testimony that should not be ignored. We also heard from Timothy Keslick, a member of the 2SL LGBTQ plus community, who fears that without further clarification, the therapy he relies on to help him navigate his same-sex relationships would be barred by the bill's ban on treatment that, quote, represses or reduces non-heterosexual attraction or sexual behavior, end quote. Others also expressed the need to clarify the definition of conversion therapy in the bill.
I apologize. I have to interrupt the member who will have 5 minutes to complete her speech next time the bill comes to the floor. Il est temps d'aller aux déclarations des députés, statements by members.